The Man's Love, a Story of Devotion. Once, there was a man named Ethan, a quiet, thoughtful soul who lived in a small village surrounded by rolling hills. His life had always been simple. He worked as a carpenter, crafting beautiful furniture for the villagers, but there was one thing missing: love. Ethan had always been a dreamer, and in his heart, he longed for a connection that was deeper than anything he had experienced before. One crisp autumn afternoon, while walking through the village square, Ethan saw her, Isabella. She was sitting on a bench under an old oak tree, reading a book. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting a warm glow around her. Her dark hair was pulled back in a loose bun, and her eyes, the color of the summer sky, were lost in the pages of her novel. Ethan felt his heart race for reasons he couldn't understand. There was something about her that stirred something deep within him. He had seen Isabella around the village before, but never had he noticed her like this. He was shy, unsure of how to approach her, but his heart would not let him ignore the pull he felt toward her. He took a deep breath, gathered his courage, and walked up to her. "Excuse me," he said, his voice soft but steady. "I couldn't help but notice you're reading Wuthering Heights. It's one of my favorite books." Isabella looked up, startled at first, but then her face softened into a smile. "Oh, really? It's one of mine too. I love how raw and intense the emotions are in it." From that moment, Ethan and Isabella began to talk. What started as a casual conversation about books and art soon blossomed into something more. They discovered they shared similar interests, from their love for classic literature to their appreciation for nature and quiet moments of solitude. Ethan found that Isabella's intellect and passion for life matched his own, and soon, they were spending more and more time together. As weeks passed, Ethan fell deeply in love with her. He admired the way she cared for the people around her, the kindness in her eyes, and the way her laugh made everything feel brighter. Isabella, in turn, was drawn to Ethan's gentle nature, his humility, and the sincerity with which he spoke of his dreams. Yet, as much as he adored her, Ethan struggled with fear. Fear that she might not feel the same way, fear that he wasn't enough for someone as extraordinary as Isabella. He spent many sleepless nights wondering if he should confess his feelings or if he would risk losing the connection they had built. One evening, under the same oak tree where they had first met, Ethan finally gathered the courage to speak his heart. As the golden hues of sunset bathed the village in warmth, he turned to Isabella and said, "Isabella, I've never felt this way about anyone before. My heart belongs to you. I don't know what the future holds, but I would be honored if you would allow me to walk it with you." Isabella looked at him for a long moment, her gaze softening with understanding. Then, with a gentle smile, she reached out and took his hand. "I've been waiting for you to say that," she whispered. "I've felt the same way for a while." In that instant, Ethan knew his life had changed forever. The man who had once lived in solitude, unsure of what love truly meant, now had someone to share his life with. Together, they would face whatever came their way, bound by a love that had bloomed from simple words and quiet moments, but would last for a lifetime.